Hello and welcome to GreenBiz Studio. I'm Dylan Siegler, VP of Sustainability here at GreenBiz, and I'm so happy to have with me Mike Murphy, the CTO of Ericsson. Welcome, Mike.
Hey, Dylan. Thanks for inviting me.
Thanks for being here. Well, let's go ahead and get started. Why don't you tell me a little bit about your role as CTO at Ericsson? What does it mean to be Chief Technology Officer at a company whose success revolves around connectivity?
Yeah, so part of the job involves understanding our customers' requirements and then feeding those back into the product teams and vice versa as well. So in the context of sustainability, it means understanding what our customers need to do to achieve their targets and what are the products we need to deliver to actually help them do that.
That makes perfect sense. And I know that your customers care a lot about sustainability, like everyone. Can you tell me about the carbon footprint of the information communications technology sector? What does that look like, and how is ICT working to address it?
Sure. The ICT sector is responsible for about 1.4% of global carbon footprint, but it has the potential to impact other sectors in a positive way by about 15%, meaning reducing the global carbon footprint of all industries by 15%. That's why it's so important. And in the telecom sector or telecom industry within the ICT sector, from 2011 to 2021, or that was kind of like the 4G timeframe, energy consumption went from 90 to 150 terawatts, or grew by about 66%. And that might seem like a lot, but actually the number of smartphones grew from 1 to 6 billion, and data consumption grew by about 300 times. So actually the sector is doing pretty good in terms of managing emissions.
That's great. And so what specifically is Ericsson doing to address its own carbon footprint?
Well, at the industry level, actually more than 1/3 of the mobile network operators signed up to the UN's Race to Zero challenge. And that, by the way, is considered a breakthrough, meaning a critical mass of companies. And so as a supplier to the mobile network operators, we have to do our part. And so at the sector level, there was a science-based target to reduce emissions by 35% for Scope 1 in 2022. But we actually achieved that in 2021, so almost a year ahead of schedule. Then on top of that, on top of the sector requirements, we did a self-imposed target to increase the efficiency of our products by a factor of 10 times in terms of watts per gigabyte. And at the end of last year, we're at about 9.3x. So I'm pretty sure we've hit the 10 already, but we need the final report at the end of the year to prove that. So in short, we're meeting and exceeding the sector and our own self-imposed targets.
How does Ericsson then help secure the energy and the sustainability performance of networks, especially considering the introduction of 5G?
Yeah, well, there's those product improvements that I noted, but we're also helped by some standardization. So at the outset of 5G, sustainability was a critical factor in the design of specifications by 3GPP. And so they introduced some things called sleep mode, where you can essentially turn off radios and base stations if they're not in use. And then they introduced some real-time network data that allow you to more or less do the same at a network level. So we've developed some AI algorithms that do exactly that. And from actual measurements, we've shown that we can reduce total network emissions by up to 15%. Now, if you add into that the ability to design networks and operate them in a sustainable way, we think that this kind of holistic approach can actually flatten the energy curve. And in fact, in some simulations done by my group just recently, we've shown that by applying all of those tools, so new products, the AI algorithms, that you can actually, over the course of a few years, say 2025, flatten or even go below emissions that are emitted today by products. So we're on a good path.
How is Ericsson helping to secure the energy and sustainability performance of networks with the onset of 5G?
Well, the CTIA issued a report recently that said that they think we can reduce carbon footprint in the US by upwards of 20% by ICT impacts on other sectors. And that's done by using 4G and 5G for automation in general. So, for example, in the power sector, it produces about 25% of greenhouse gas emissions in the US. And there was a target to reach net zero by 2035. And that's done by introducing things like smart meters and real time power control systems. And in our own backyard in Louisville, Texas, we built a factory that uses 100% renewable energy, 75% less water, and 4G and 5G control systems. And even with all of that, produces 2.2 times more personnel efficiency. So there's a number of ways of achieving that CTIA target, and I think we're on the path to doing so.
It's so exciting to hear about how connectivity can really multiply this action. Mike, thank you so much for joining us. And thanks to everyone watching. We hope you'll join us again for another Green Biz Studio.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. Thank you.